Welcome into Steelers Latest, your daily spot for all news and information related to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content to stay up to date with everything Steelers. But let's get rolling as we have a wide receiver heavy focus on this episode. Everything's going to be receiver today. As the biggest news, we got a new face in town, or somewhat familiar face kind of in town, as Gabe Davis is visiting the Steelers facilities today. Excited to see this. Gabe Davis has proven in the past he can be a reliable number two wide receiver. Now we'll talk about that Jacksonville year in a second here. Don't worry, we're gonna cover it. But he will be visiting the Steelers today. If you remember earlier this summer, Gabe Davis showed his face in the bird before, didn't end up signing, but after an injury and maybe some questions around Calvin Austin, it looks like the Steelers could be making a move here. Once again, Gabe Davis, just 2 years ago, was considered one of the best number two options in the league in Buffalo. So we're just 2 years ago, 2 years away from that form of Gabe Davis. Now, last year, once again, the stench of how bad it was in Jacksonville lingers around Davis, of course, but everything was bad in Jacksonville. Hopefully, pairing him up again with a solidified number one receiver in DK Metcalf on the other side of the field, taking all the attention away from Davis, can help him hit that level of play again he hit 2 years ago with Buffalo. Davis, I'm gonna use a baseball metaphor for Gabe Davis. He as a wide receiver too. He's a quadruple A player, really good in the minors, just can't make it in the majors. He is really good at wide receiver too. Gets locked down when he's the main focus of the pass game. So I think that is a good way of putting how Gabe Davis is as a player. And he has the build. We've seen Rodgers with players have Gabe Davis's build before, and Rodgers thrives in that. Hopefully, that can help rewind the clock also if they do decide to bring in Gabe Davis. Let's talk about the options at wide receiver two right now. We have Calvin Austin. Has he done enough to fend off this move? Is this a little disrespectful? Of course not, because Calvin Austin hasn't been playing for the past couple weeks because of injury. So we need depth at this position. We're going to address another injury here soon. So you can't fend off a move like this if you're not on the field. Roman Wilson, on the other hand, though, he's been balling out in the preseason games. So he's trying his darndest to fend off any more wide receiver acquisitions. The issue with Roman Wilson is the track record just isn't there. I know he's been flashing in these preseason games, and that's exciting and all. And I'm even getting on board in the hype train rolling for Roman Wilson. But like the Steelers, backups are playing in the secondary for the Steelers. Our secondary hasn't looked good. Probably happening for the opposing teams too. So we can't put too much weight in it. The track record just isn't there because he was injured last season. So I just don't think you can say that he's going to be reliable enough. You can't say that confidently enough that he is going to be a reliable number two. But by the end of the year, don't be surprised when he surpasses Calvin Austin's role for this team. I think Roman Wilson is going to be the better receiver out of the two for sure. Let's talk about the other injury though. Ben Skoranek now goes down with an injury. The receiver room getting ate up, it feels like right now. But this was just a toe injury. Arthur Smith announced today that it happened last Thursday against the Buccaneers in the joint practice. Hopefully, he's going to be available for the regular season in a couple weeks. He has a couple weeks to get healthy. That is the good news. But we're going to miss Skoranek. He was a versatile guy for the Steelers. You don't see him line up at receiver too much, but he is definitely a special teams guy for the Steelers that will be missed for sure. Let's wrap up today's show though with a decision on if we should go out there and sign Davis after everything we've talked about. And I think the answer is definitely yes. I've been pushing for a receiver all season long. Now, Gabe Davis was never my number one choice. I was pushing for. He was always mentioned, but as more of an honorable mention than anything, I was more hoping for Amari Cooper. But it seems like the Steelers are leaning Davis's way. I still say that it is a solid move. He provides depth in a room where the two guys ahead of him in Alston and Wilson, or to start ahead of him, Alston and Wilson, are you don't know. There's questions around injuries just because of their previous injury history. Alston's already dealing with an injury this year, so there's questions around those two. Also now Skoronek's down. There's big holes opening up at this in this wide receiver room now as injuries kind of pile up. Once again, I would have preferred a better option, but I do think Gabe Davis matched with a number one wide receiver once again will benefit Davis in a positive way. He'll be able to get close to those Buffalo numbers again. Probably not put up those Buffalo numbers again because we don't have a Josh Allen at quarterback like in Buffalo. But hopefully, Aaron Rodgers will be able to rewind the clock a little bit. If we do end up pulling the trigger on signing Gabe Davis, I think this could be a solid fit. We saw some other receivers kind of dodging more. Keenan Allen, he was saying, I'm never going to be a Steeler. Davis seems to like it here. He seems to be taking a lot of interest, showing interest, visiting twice. He has a friend here in Shane Gillis, so hopefully that's another enticing thing for Gabe Davis to sign with the Steelers. But that has been it from Steelers Latest. Let me know what you think in the comment section about all the Gabe Davis rumors going around today. If you think he'll sign, what benefit he'll add to the team. But once again, that has been it from Steelers Latest. I've been your host, Cole Dennis, and I will see you tomorrow.